Well, good morning, everybody. This is the finale day. It's kind of cool. Might have rained just a little bit last night. Everything's wet, I know that for sure. Probably still from yesterday. So we stayed in the Talk Mountain shelter last night. Everybody else tented, and I think they may have had the better idea. I assumed that there might be a huge rain, so we stayed inside the shelter, but huge rain never came. But what did come is a fair amount of mice. They didn't really mess with us, you could just hear them up on the second level, scampering and things like that. But it's kind of typical experience that you can anticipate. So what's the plan for today? We're going to hike southbound 8 miles to the summit of Springer Mnt and celebrate the completion of this journey. That's kind of the plan right there. My wife and my son's fiance should meet us in the parking lot, which is about a mile north of the summit. So we'll look forward to seeing them as well. So that's our plan, guys. It's kind of cool and misty, and I really don't anticipate a lot of views today. But just walking in the woods, finishing up these 8 miles, and reflecting back on a long journey. So, kind of looking forward to getting to the house. All right, y'all. We'll catch up with you further down the path. All right, everybody. We just checked our progress, and we've gone 2 miles. Obviously, leaving us 6 miles to go. We're making good time. The train has not been so bad at all today, and we're about to drop down, and once we get to the next parking lot, then we'll have I don't know, I'd say 4+ miles or more of climb, really gradual climb up to the summit of Springer Mnt. And Springer Mnt is definitely not Mount Katahdin, that's for sure. The southern terminus is way different from the northern terminus for sure. You really don't, you can have views there, but the better views are when the leaves are off the trees. So we might get some views there. We'll certainly check that out, but it's just way different. And I'm sure that's part of the reason, in conjunction with the weather and things of that nature, as to why 80% of the people, when they hike the Appalachian Trail for a through hike, they start at Georgia and then finish at Mount Katahdin in Maine. And in retrospect, I would say I would actually encourage anyone who chooses to go to do this to do it your way first. Think about what fits your time frame, your schedule, and what you hope to accomplish. But all else being the same, I would start in Georgia and go to Maine. And part of that is because, well, lots of reasons, but by the time you get to New Hampshire and Maine, you're in such a condition that the hard stuff that's about to hit you, you're as about prepared for it as you could possibly be. But moreover, the finish on Mount Katahdin is just an epic place to finish. It's it's a huge climb, probably if not the biggest, toughest climb of the entire trip. It's one of them, that's for sure. And if you hit it on a good day, then you're afforded some beautiful views from up there as well. It just seems like such a grand place to complete the hike. A little different if you're going southbound, and you'll see a lot of young folks will start their hike southbound and finish at Springer Mnt, as we're going to do today. But that hike, that finish, it's just so much different. And I would say that they're going to complete a lot of the really grand stuff early in their hike. And after that, it's just kind of downhill, to be honest. And there's some wonderful things to see along the way, don't get me wrong. But the southern terminus is not as, it's not as grand, and certainly lacks the luster, I would say, that you would have with the epic finish up at Mount Katahdin. But I have no regrets. What I did with the flip-flop worked for me, and the reasons I did it were played out properly in terms of weather and spending money in the impacted areas of Helene as fast as we could, and then tracking back and going south, doing these last 250 miles. These are miles I've already done before, but for me, I thought it was going to be pretty cool too, and I still do, to finish in my home state of Georgia. And of course, I've had the joy of having my son hike with me the last 30 miles. So that's pretty cool. And all that could not be accomplished, obviously, in Maine. So I have no regrets. I'm just saying, if you have no opinion about it, I would encourage people to go from Georgia to Maine. All right, enough talking. Let's get back to walking. We'll see you when we get a little bit closer to our climbing. All right, everybody. We're coming up on Long Creek Falls. It's just about 1/10 of a mile off the Appalachian Trail, but certainly worth that short walk over to check it out. Pretty impressive. Long Creek Falls. Pretty awesome. Wowee. That's really nice. All right, everybody, we're just crossing over. I guess this is still Long Creek. I'm not sure. Pretty. That's a real pretty shot right there. So we just checked our mileage, and we're at about a little over 4 miles to the top of Springer Mountain right here. So we agree we've got plenty of time. So here you see a couple of symbols. Of course, you have the white blaze of the Appalachian Trail, then you have the white diamond below it. That means that we're running along a side or adjoined to another trail altogether. This is the Mnt Trail symbol. So the Mnt Mackay was one of the founding fathers, I would say, of the Appalachian Trail. And there's a trail named after Mnt Mackay, obviously. I can't remember the exact miles of it. It's I think it's over 200 miles. Somebody will call me out on that one probably. I cannot remember exact mileage on it, but obviously it's running along the Appalachian Trail up towards Springer. And I know it also runs down towards Robbinsville and that area as well. So it may be an interesting trail at some point to go do. We'll see. But for today, we're focused on finishing this trail. And we have 4.1 miles to the top of Springer Mountain. And it's about a 1,200 foot elevation gain. We're about 2,500, and I believe Springer's at around 37. So it's a rather gradual 4 mile up. So we're just going to take it easy, knowing that we've got plenty of time, and we'll make it up there. So we'll check back with you as we get a little closer. Hope you're having an awesome day. We'll check back with you as we get further down the path. All right, everybody, we have made it to the Springer Mountain parking lot, which means we have another little less than a mile to go up to top of Springer Mountain. You see the trail, it's still out there in front of us. And it's a well-traveled trail, of course. So we're gonna head on up. It looks like our Tamara and Kendall, Ethan's fiance, will be going with us. So we're gonna go up there, walk up and walk back. I guess the nice thing is that since we have the car here, we'll just leave our bags here. So I'm not only slack packing, I'm no packing for the last mile. So we'll go up there and finish this thing out. Look forward to checking it out and checking it off. All right, we will get back with you as we head up further up this trail. All right, everybody, we're getting pretty close to the top. We've kind of pulled ahead of the rest of the family there. But we're real close. 2,197 miles for sure. Maybe a 0.2 or 3 left. Just wanted to, again, take the opportunity to thank everybody for encouraging me and praying for me, and well, I couldn't maybe always bounce back to all the positive comments along the way on YouTube. Maybe I didn't have signal or whatever the case may be, but I want to let you know I read every one of them, and I absolutely appreciate everyone's involvement and engagement into this adventure. It has been a heck of a ride, and as I kind of think back over the time, I can't hardly you begin to think about what was the standout type of things. There's always going to be those beautiful views and locations. You know, I think about starting at Max Patch. I see getting up into Virginia and the Triple Crown with Dragon's Tooth. That was a great day. And McAfee Knob and Tinker's Cliff. And I think about the Bigelows in Maine. I think about coming down that Limhi Mountain in the rain there in Limhi Valley, Pennsylvania. That was a big day. So many beautiful sights and memories, but for me, honestly, I believe that the best part of the trip was, the people you meet, folks you got to hike with, and the small trail towns that you got to go into and out of, and the hostels, the people who run the hostels. I don't know that anybody looks back on this type of trip and says, man, I really enjoyed carrying that heavy bag up and down all these mountains. That's not the stuff you want to remember. At least not for me. Different strokes for different folks. For me, it's always going to be the people you meet, the friends you make. The falls, hopefully you don't have, and the beautiful sights and locations that you get to visit. So I guess I should wait on my family. They'll be catching up. So thanks again for everybody from joining along, and we will catch up as we crest the top of Springer Mountain.
although it's really shady.
All right, everybody, we have made it to the top of Springer Mnt, Georgia. There you have the very last blaze on the Appalachian Trail if you're heading south, or the first one if you're heading north. And there's actually a really pretty view today, which is kind of unusual. It's awesome. Lots of people here. I think there's more people here than there were at the top of Mount Katahdin when I was up there.
Shadowy, but you can't do anything.
I was last up here.
It's pretty cool.